Hello everyone, this is In-Game Arts with a little boxing and an offline product game review. This is Fell Seal Arbiter's Mark, the Deluxe Edition for the PlayStation 4. To jump right into it, this physical copy here comes with the update version 1.19 right on the disc, as well as that there were no updates available at the time of this video. As well as an extra bonus, this Deluxe Edition not only comes with the base game, but also comes with the expansion, missions, and monsters right on the disc as well. So at the time of making this video, this Deluxe Edition is the most updated, completed version of Fell Seal Arbiter's Mark on disc, so which is extremely nice. Now granted, there could be another expansion get released down the road, more updates, but at the time of making this video, this is the most complete version on disc. I never bought the original first released version of the game, so I don't know what exactly is on that first one, but clearly this is more the most updated version of the game, as well as that this is also available on the Switch, so there is a Switch version, but I do not know what's exactly on that Switch cartridge or if the DLC is on the cartridge. I don't know, I only know the PS4 version. Now sadly as well is that this Deluxe Edition is only available as a PAL import, so it's not available in Japan or United States at the time of making this video, which is extremely disappointing, but at least there is a physical copy out there. Now, like always, I did complete the entire game completely offline with an unregistered account, and I didn't experience a single bug problem or issue throughout the entire time I played this game. The game completely ran great, the beginning to end, no issues, no stutterings, no frame rate problems, nothing. So it's extremely nice to have a complete, smooth experience with this game. Now, if you don't know, Fell Seal Arbiter is a tactical RPG style-esque game. The best way to describe it is that they just picked up the entire idea of Final Fantasy Tactics and dropped it into a new concept and design, which is not a bad thing. Final Fantasy Tactics is my all-time most favorite tactical RPG, as well as my most favorite Final Fantasy game. Now, as I said, they picked it up and dropped it, so it basically has a lot of the functions of Final Fantasy Tactics. It follows the grid-based combat system. Every character has their own set of classes and abilities, but you can customize them and alter them. Now, main characters do have a specialty class, but there is like sub classes for your recruits that you can gather up that will have abilities similar to it. But there's tons of classes and jobs you can be, like knights, mercenaries, wizards, rangers, all of them. Everyone has their own special abilities and skills, and you can customize these abilities, mix matching them. You can do counterattacks, your passive abilities, your main class, your subclass. You can customize all of this, as well as you can create your own people, change their portraits, change their armor design, change their clothing, their face, and features. Lots of customization, not only equipments like crossbows, bows, guns, swords, axe, reapers, the spears, shields, accessories. Tons and tons of features and contents to customize your playstyle how you want. As well as an extra bonus, since the game does come with the expansion, missions, and monsters, you can now recruit monsters into your party, as well as that those monsters even have their own job classes as well. So not only can you customize your main characters, your sub-characters, as well as now you can customize the monsters you recruit to your party. Tons of content and lots of customizations and functions. As I said, they just basically picked up and dropped Final Fantasy Tactics mechanics and ideas into a more stylized and more updated functionality, which works really good. I had simply a blast playing this game. It was just, the entire time I had a big old smile on my face. I love this game so much. Now, I do admit, down in the beginning of the game, I did play the game on veteran difficulty, and I did really enjoy the challenge. I was losing and learning and growing and becoming better at the game. You can still train and grind and do patrols around environments that you've already explored to constantly grind up and level up. You can still even do like Final Fantasy Tactics, where you can overpower yourself, maybe make yourself OP to the next battle, which is extremely nice. I do know people don't like that because it is game breaking, but I do enjoy that concept because it is somewhat the charm of Final Fantasy Tactics. So I love the idea that that is an option for me. But near the halfway point of the game, I did go ahead and drop the game all the way to the easiest difficulty. And I just basically did that because I wanted to hurry up and get through the game, because the game challenges were really hard, and it was just taking me a very long time. And that's not a bad thing, but for the sake of the video, so I can get a video out there for you guys, as well as fully test this game offline, I went ahead and dropped the difficulty on the easiest difficulty. Now, even with that, the game was still pretty challenging with doing that. So don't even think on the easiest difficulty you can just breeze through it. If you don't do your planning properly, you'll get destroyed immediately. So it still was really fun to see that even though dropping the difficulty, there was still a challenge in the game. The game even changes some aspects, like using items. Items don't work like your typical like Final Fantasy game where you gather up 99 potions or 999 potions and never use them. The game strongly tries to encourage you to use your items. Items are unlimited, but you can only use so many of them during each battle. So say you have 5 potions, you can use those 5 potions throughout the battle, and once you've won the battle, you replenish those 5 potions, but you're only allowed to use a certain amount during that match, which I thought was a great idea. It encouraged you to use your items. Doesn't matter if you feel like you want to hoard as many, because you can't hoard items, so just use them and they'll just restored. Brilliant idea of game design right there, in my personal taste. As well as I do love the customization, adding and altering abilities that you didn't think to customize was extremely nice, doing combinations. Like I had a lady who had 2 pistols, but also had knight abilities, so she was able to have heavy hit damage, or she was able to have the ability that has all for one, where every time somebody attacks, she can add her attack, but since she had guns, she's double shot at a distance. So it was really cool to do all this customization. Now, with all that praise, there are problems with the game. The only biggest problems I could find was in 3 categories. First category, the story is not the greatest. The story doesn't really grip me all that much. The characters, though, are alright. They're not the most appealing characters. Some of them are a bit on the generic side, but they're still not bad. The story isn't what kept me going. I just love the gameplay. Secondly, the audio quality in the game is not the greatest. By this I mean that there's not a lot of oomph in the impact of the sounds and attacks. They're very mono kind of sounding and very not as impactful as you would like. For me, like I came from Final Fantasy Tactics, you had that special ice ability that used that flipped and came down and did explosion ability, the sound effect and design. It doesn't have any of that, so it's very underwhelming in terms of audio design, in terms of the using abilities and attacks and so on. With that note, visually, though I am not a stickler for graphics, and anyone who's watched my channel know I love sprite graphics, so that's not my issue. My issue is that some of the abilities and attacks are not the most appealing looking, and with the lack of quality audio behind it, it does feel a little underwhelming when you do like a normal attack or kill an enemy or use fire or lightning spell. It isn't the most amazing looking thing and out there. And now this isn't a bad thing. It doesn't make or break the game, but it does overall impact the enjoyment of the game. I think if they do make a sequel, really focus on audio and make those abilities and powers more impactful when you use them. I'm not saying they have to do more damage or anything. It's just do their effects really cool. As well as that, sadly, the game is really gorgeous in terms of its environments and maps and designs, but sadly, there's no rotating the map. You can't rotate it, you can't flip it or alter it to look up and down, left or right. You can't do that. It's a set picture. It's a portrait, kind of like a painting, and you're just walking over this painting, which isn't bad. It looks beautiful, but since you can't rotate the camera or anything like that, it can be kind of hard to see certain aspects of the environment, as well as that sometimes the portrait or the picture of the environment more obscure movement panels, so you can't really see sometimes the movement panel where you're exactly moving. This is a big issue. That's a big oversight in game design right there. But those are some minor issues here and there. I still enjoyed myself immensely. Every battle felt really rewarding and challenging, especially on higher difficulties. AI really scaled themselves with you to make every battle very challenging and rewarding as you played. Now, there was frustrations and aggravations at certain moments, but at no point did I felt like that I was being cheated. Not like something like I played like Triangle Strategy or Banner Saga, which were great stories and great graphical design, but man, I did not enjoy the gameplay in those games. While Fell Seal Arbiter's Mark really had that feeling of both sides are fighting on equal footing, which I greatly enjoyed. You're both trying to use your abilities at your best. The computer can use the same abilities I can do, and I can do all the same abilities the computer can do. I love that kind of game design. It's very rewarding and very challenging. And I mean truly that the computer can do revive, they can revive their allies, they can use potions, they can do all the same abilities that you can do. So in higher difficulties, it can be an extreme challenge, but still rewarding and fun with all the customization. And since you can do all the grinding and leveling up, if you're having a hard time, sit back and grind up, get some abilities. Doesn't mean you're going to be able to breeze through the game, but you still have at least a better chance at fighting. I enjoyed this game. It didn't blow me away in terms of like graphics and story and just mechanic because it is basically Final Fantasy Tactics, but it's been so long since we've had a good tactical RPG, or as bizarre it is, no one really made another spiritual successor to Final Fantasy Tactics. So to see this game and how well they did it, I am just at all with it. I just really, truly enjoyed this game. It didn't, like I said, it didn't blow me away. There's a lot of areas that can use a lot of improvements, but I still love it. I can't wait to see a sequel or an idea. The only best things I can say is that, like I said, focus on audio and visual quality, as well as that story can be a little bit better, but I see where they were going with their story. Not the most engaging, but it did its part. As well as that rotating the camera. I know that you probably had a great artist to do all the level map design, but man, not be able to rotate that camera is pretty big deal of game oversight at certain areas in the game. But in the end, this is an amazing collection to get. I do say this is probably a huge hidden gem, not only in gaming, but for physical collecting as well, for tactical RPG fans. Do not look over this game. If you're into those kind of genres, you're into looking for games that may get extremely rare down the road for terms of RPG design, this is definitely probably going to be one of them, because, as I said, all the DLC and updates are on the disc. It's the complete functional version of the game, and it played great on my PS5. I have those, other than the few little gripes I pointed out, and even those were just being minorly picky, I still had a blast playing this game. But these are my kind of genre games. I love slower paced games. I love tactical RPGs. I am not a stickler for graphics, so I really love the sprite graphic designs. I really love customizing my characters, doing a lot of ability alterations and stuff like that, which was something that was extremely missing in Triangle Strategy or Banner Saga, among many other ones, where you feel like you're playing more of a puzzle game or a chess piece game, where you feel very limited on what you can do and where you can approach your units. Well, this one was really liberating, being able to customize and do whatever I want and try to win. But computer was on the same rope and the same field as me, which was very rewarding when I overcome the enemy. In my personal opinion, this is a must-buy for your physical collecting. Hopefully, maybe if they do release more DLC and updates, I'm not asking them to, but if they do, we'll maybe get like a PS5 physical release or something like that, and it'll be a more updated version if they do release more. But at the time I'm making this video, this is the best version you can get, and I highly advise to pick it up if you can. Sadly, it is only a PAL import, but it shouldn't be too hard to get at the time of making this video. But man, this is a good game not to overlook to have in your collection. So like always, thank you all so much for watching this video. I will try to provide links down in the description if you're instant copy. You've already heard my 2 pieces on it. I highly recommend the game. It's definitely one that's well worth it being in your collection. It's got great mechanics, great gameplay. It could be a neat little complete collection on your physical collecting shelf. It's definitely something that I think a lot of people are going to overlook for no good reason. If you are not even interested in physical collecting, still buy this on PC or did a digital download. You should not overlook this game. It was really fun. It has its downsides here and there, but no game is perfect. And for what they were aiming to try to achieve, I'm sure it's a smaller studio and smaller ideas. They still nailed it out of the park, at least providing a lot more functionality and customization than a lot of other games out there. So again, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next unboxing video. Bye-bye!